Don Knotts won 5 Emmy Awards for his portrayal of Barney Fife on the television program The Andy Griffith Show, for which he is best remembered. In addition to his 3 elder brothers, Don Knotts grew up in poverty. He was born Jesse Donald Knotts on July 21, 1924, in Morgantown, West Virginia. In his youthful years, Don faced inner turmoil, grappling with his self-image. His lanky frame seemed to invite scrutiny, leading family members to affectionately dub one of his brothers Shadow due to his exceptionally slender build. However, Don's life took an intriguing turn when his mother developed a keen interest in the emergence of talking movies during the late 1920s. In his teen years, Knotts started performing and developed a ventriloquist performance with a Danny dummy. He enrolled in the American Army, where he performed as a showman in the Pacific in the early 1940s. He was awarded a World War II Victory Medal before being released from service. Following his graduation in 1948, Knotts delved deeper into his passion for speech by pursuing further studies at West Virginia University. With a mere $100 in his pocket, Knotts hitched a ride to the vibrant city of New York, brimming with hopes and dreams. During the early 1950s, Knotts found himself embodying the character of a wise yet eccentric handyman on the children's radio western show called Bobby Benson and the B-Bar B-Writers. His portrayal of this know-it-all geezer left an indelible mark on the hearts of listeners, further fueling his aspirations. He graced the screens and captivated audiences through his appearances on shows like Search for Tomorrow from 1953 to 1955. In this Columbia Broadcasting System soap opera, Knotts brought to life a troubled young man so deeply disturbed that his sole means of communication was limited to his sister alone. It was a departure from his usual comedic roles, showcasing his versatility and depth as an actor. The year 1955 proved to be a turning point in Knotts' career. He caught the attention of audiences and critics alike with his impeccable portrayal of a fussy military evaluator in the Broadway production of Ira Levin's comedy No Time for Sergeants. Little did he know that one of the recruits being evaluated by his character would be played by a relatively unknown actor named Andy Griffith, who would later become an integral part of his life. During the vibrant era from 1956 to 1960, Knotts graced the screens of National Broadcasting Company's The Steve Allen Show regularly, portraying a character named Mr. Morrison, aptly nicknamed the Nervous Man. The comedic routine involved Morrison being interviewed live on the streets, where his palpable nervousness and agitation became the source of uproarious laughter. Each time Steve Allen inquired about his nerves, Knotts would hilariously pop his eyes wide open and respond with a trembling nope, leaving the crowd in stitches. This unforgettable routine catapulted him to fame. The partnership between Knotts and Griffith continued to thrive, leading them to join forces once again for the 1958 film adaptation of No Time for Sergeants. Their camaraderie extended beyond the project, and when Andy Griffith secured the role of the rural sheriff Andy Taylor in the beloved series The Andy Griffith Show, Knotts eagerly followed suit, becoming his comically inept sidekick and deputy, Barney Fife. Initially, the role of Barney Fife was not part of the show's pilot, which was set in the fictional town of Mayberry, North Carolina. However, when Knotts joined the cast, he was meant to blend in seamlessly as part of Griffith's entourage. Yet, fate had other plans. Shortly after the debut of the Columbia Broadcasting System comedy series in 1960, Knotts' exuberant and bubbling energy captured the hearts of viewers still in the spotlight. The writers swiftly recognized the magic that unfolded between the two actors and reshaped Griffith's character, transforming him into the composed and level-headed Sheriff Taylor, who often found himself rescuing Deputy Fife from the hilarious mishaps that unfolded due to his antics. The writers of The Andy Griffith Show seized the opportunity to showcase Don Knotts' impeccable skills in physical comedy, utilizing sight gags that became the cornerstone of the show's success. The result was a consistently highly rated program that remained in the top 10 throughout its 8-year run. Barney Fife, the ever-endearing misfit, carried with him a solitary bullet, the only one Sheriff Taylor had entrusted to him after an unfortunate self-inflicted foot injury. However, whenever Fife attempted to load the bullet, hilarity ensued as he fumbled with the task, providing endless amusement to viewers. Additionally, his knack for accidental self-incarceration in the jail cell added to the comedic chaos that followed him wherever he went. In 1965, Knotts bid farewell to the Andy Griffith Show to explore opportunities on the silver screen. His comedic prowess and charm made him a reliable draw in the 1960s, as he starred in a series of family-friendly films with a G rating. One notable film was the 1964 production of The Incredible Mr. Limpet, a unique blend of animation and live action, where Knotts portrayed a timid clerk who, after being rejected by the Navy, undergoes a fantastical transformation into a fish. This was followed by a string of successes, including 1966's The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, 1967's The Reluctant Astronaut, 1968's The Shakiest Gun in the West, and 1969's The Love God, each showcasing Knotts' comedic genius. As the early 1970s dawned, Knotts found a new home in Disney's live-action features. He embraced various roles, such as portraying a bumbling Old West bandit alongside Tim Conway in 1975's The Apple Dumpling Gang. He also took on the role of a would-be safecracker in 1976's No Deposit, No Return, and a football coach in Gus, a heartwarming tale that revolved around a field goal kicking mule. Notably, Knotts portrayed auto racing veteran Willie Applegate in the 1977 film Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, further cementing his status as a beloved figure in the entertainment industry. After a hiatus from television, Knotts made a triumphant return in 1979, delighting audiences with his portrayal of the fashionably flamboyant landlord Ralph Furley on the popular ABC sitcom Three's Company, starring alongside the late John Ritter. He remained a beloved fixture on the show until its conclusion in 1984, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of viewers. In addition to his iconic role in Three's Company, Knotts graced the small screen with guest appearances and a recurring role in his longtime friend Andy Griffith's courtroom drama series, Matlock, which captivated audiences from 1986 to 1995. Knotts also found opportunities to showcase his talent on the silver screen. In 1998, he made a memorable cameo appearance in the movie Pleasantville, portraying a television repairman who provides two teenagers with a special remote control that transports them into the idyllic black-and-white world of 1950s television sitcoms. This nostalgic role allowed Knotts to pay tribute to the era that had shaped his career. Additionally, Knotts lent his distinctive voice to the 2005 Disney film Chicken Little, bringing to life the character of Mayor Turkey Lurkey and adding his comedic touch to the animated adventure. Outside of the spotlight, Don Knotts experienced the joys and challenges of his personal life. He married his college sweetheart, Catherine Metz, in 1947, and together they welcomed a son named Thomas Knotts and a daughter who would go on to pursue a career in acting, Karen Knotts. Sadly, his first marriage ended in divorce in 1964. In 1974, Knotts entered into a second marriage with Laura Lee Chuchna, which concluded in divorce in 1983. Finally, in 2002, he found love once again and married Frances Yarborough, embarking on a new chapter of his life. Unfortunately, in addition to macular degeneration, which is a degenerative eye condition, Knotts also had significant hypochondria. In his final years, cancer also affected him. Sadly, Knotts passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, on February 24, 2006, at the age of 81. The leading cause of death was pneumonia linked to lung cancer complications. His wife, his daughter Karen, and son Thomas are among those who remain. Goodbye and rest in peace, legendary actor and comedian Don Knotts.